Hello and welcome to the 2011 Call of Duty Black Ops stream here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm Corey Dunn alongside Holiday Doc as we're about to get things kicked off here and get, want to see some of the best matches that we've seen to date, and let's what's happened so far since Anaheim.
Well, I'm going to reference something you told me at one of the very first times we ever spoke, and Call of Duty is still growing and we're at its infant stage. Now we're working our way through. We're seeing these teams develop over event after event, and they're only getting better. They're learning new things, and those things are being translated to their gameplays, and it's providing us with, tremendous showings of how these teams are really developing, and it's exciting to watch. And we're going to definitely showcase that here today, as well as throughout the weekend. And lots to talk about right now.
Well, we've watched what happened in the past so far with Quantic Leverage. They were able to dominate there in Dallas and then do the same thing in Anaheim. Now, what's the case here? Are they going to be able to do the same thing?
I think so. We spoke to them. I heard from Leverage themselves that they feel like they are better now than they were playing before Anaheim. So if they were that strong at Anaheim, this could be a pretty good.
And so let's go ahead and break down these pools that we have here. There's only one pool that I see out of all of these that really have just kind of, you kind of already know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and talk about Pool A. Right there you see Quantic Leverage. Looking at that pool, who do you see coming out on top? I mean, it's easy, bud.
It really is. Leverage is in a pool with Abnormal, Twisted Method, and OB Pro, Obey Pro. And Leverage, I'm going to be quite honest. I think Leverage is gonna really do easy in this pool, but it always comes down to how they're playing at the time. If they take this way too easily and they get overconfident because it is a little bit of an easier bracket to go through, they're going to run into some trouble, because anytime you take a team for granted or the pool for granted, you end up throwing yourself off if you ever come up against a loss.
But I wouldn't be too worried about that. Having a player like TP and having a player like Proofy, they're always hyped and ready to go.
And Scump.
Oh, and Scump as well.
Scumpy and Aches. It's a whole package. Anytime you try to mention one player from that team,
right,
you're like, well, you wouldn't have this guy doing so well if that guy wasn't there, and you don't have him doing so well if the other player wasn't there. It is such a uniform, combined team.
What was so funny earlier, I was speaking with those from Leverage, and we're talking about who was the MVP from Anaheim.
Yeah.
And Proofy goes, well, I was. Well, then Scump chimes in with, no, well, I was, because I was able to get that 1v1 in the finals. Well, Proofy goes, well, I got a 1v1 as well. And then you got TP going, well, I'm just all around. I'm just a BA. So,
yeah.
But as we look,
TP just goes, I'm better than all y'all. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at those who are defending, or trying to get back into it and try to pick up another championship here in the Major League Gaming Series. That's Eon Optic Gaming. They're there in Pool B.
Yeah, Eon Optic Gaming is going to do very well at this event. I think we're going to see a more determined and a better focused team than we've seen at Anaheim or saw at Anaheim. One thing I do want to talk about is Influence. Influence is in this bracket. They lost their main player, Saints, but then they picked up Solo from Twisted Method. So there's a little bit of roster changes going on, but I think they found a solid replacement, and they're going to be my number one contender to go up against gaming right now, Optic Gaming.
Well, one of the things that I always look at and I always ask is, how's Rambo whenever he gets here? Because what we saw in Anaheim, he was good. He was content. He was healthy. But whenever he got here for this event, he wasn't feeling up to par. It's typically just due to travel anxiety. But just saw him a little bit ago. He's good to go. He had that gator. He had some drinks.
Those electrolytes.
Had some electrolytes and some saltines. He was all good to go now. So looking at that whole Pool B, I see Optic Gaming coming out on that one, but with some confrontation there from Influence, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and even still, we have Icons Blue, and Icons actually split up into two teams. So, we've seen them divide, some of their best players and make two teams. I'm not sure how well it's going to benefit them for this event on such short notice to, split apart like that. But it'll be interesting to see. There's really good players on the team, but they got to be able to hold it together. And I think team chemistry in Call of Duty means the world.
Oh, without a doubt.
It'll be interesting to see how everything kind of pans out.
So coming up here in just a moment, we'll kind of break down what's going on with Pool C and really one of the ones that I want to talk about, Pool D. So stick around right here on the Call of Duty Black Ops stream as we'll be right back here in just a moment. All right, so welcome back here to the Call of Duty Black Ops stream as we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's happening for Pool C and Pool D. Again, we saw that we were looking at Leverage probably going to take out the Pool A, and then we had Optic Gaming there in Pool B. But as for Pool C, a team that I'm really looking forward to seeing again here in Raleigh is Team Fear.
Yeah, Team Fear surprised everybody by keeping the roster. Everybody expect them to go back to Moho and bring their team captain back to the game, but they felt it was much better to keep the team that dominated so well up until the final day and give them a second shot at winning here in Raleigh.
One of the things, though, too, that we talked about with A4V Young Guns is a player like Felonies. He's just a top-notch competitor. But with the team that he's playing with, do you feel as if he's being held back, or if what is he trying to be able to produce?
So with Felonies, I love the kid.
Right.
He's a great player, as well as that pro personality that he just need a moment to shine. But I think he's established himself already. Mm-hmm. The team needs to just catch up a little bit, maybe, or it could be chemistry.
I get what you're saying there. So out of that right there, Pool C, in my opinion, I'm going to see Fear coming out of that one the way that they were able to play there in Anaheim. So let's go ahead and take a look at the real pool that I really want to look at is Pool D with Eon Envy as well as Quantic Next Threat. Break down those two teams there.
Okay, so Next Threat is a heavy hitter right now with their new pickup. This is going to be a completely different team. They dropped Sin and they picked up Saints. So we're going to see a completely dominating Slayer team that, they were lacking last event. Mm-hmm. They didn't have that power from all four of their players. But I think with that pickup, they're going to do well. But Envy, I'm also looking forward to because they've had more time to establish themselves. Right. They didn't just get thrown together in the last week. They've got one event under their belt now, and they've had the last 4 weeks to practice, make sure everything's all together. And I think they're really focused on, putting in and trying to win this event.
So out of those two, Envy or Next Threat?
I think it'll go to a tiebreaker decision, or I think it'll go to
something tight.
Tight, yeah. Because I think what we might see is what we've seen at Columbus, where it came up to the other two teams that threw the other teams off or took one map away. That could be an issue as well.
So let's kind of take a quick look at what's to come here for today. We got Obey going against Icons Black, Quantic Next Threat going up against Force, Optic Gaming and Influence, Envy, and Next Threat. Again, that's a matchup that we want to really look at. That's what we're talking about. So that's at 9:15 Eastern. And then closing out the night, we're going to have Quantic Leverage going up against Obey Pro. And that'll be another good matchup to look at. Kind of get a real good feel of what Quantic Leverage is being able to produce here for this event. So these are the matchups that we're going to be looking forward to here today. Tomorrow is going to be another great day. But then we've got another great series to come here throughout for all Call of Duty Black Ops here in Raleigh, North Carolina. But coming up next, we'll have a chance to be able to sit down with Proofy, the self-proclaimed MVP there for Anaheim. So we'll stick around here as we'll be right back.
And welcome back. My name is Holiday Doc, and we are here at the 2011 North Carolina Raleigh event, and I'm here with the self-proclaimed MVP. And it was a big toss-up. I did a Twitter to see who you guys wanted to see on the stream here, and look who we got.
Got me, the MVP. No, I'm joking. I love my teammates. I think we're all capable of earning that MVP spot. We all come up, we play, we make big plays. So in my books, my entire team was the MVP for last
Exactly,
event.
And we just talked about that too. We said your team, each player is so important for the success of the guy next to you.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%.
So
without
if you
one of them doing something wrong, can mess up the entire team.
We've seen that a couple times in the last event there, where one little thing slipped, and then somebody else moved into that spot, and it just created the formation that you guys needed to win. And everybody's really excited to see if you guys can pull off back-to-back wins.
I think that's what's going to be good about this event. Last event, we didn't have as much chemistry as we do now. And, as you can see, when we play, the rotations will be just that much smoother.
Yeah.
We'll be pretty hard to beat for this event.
So speaking on chemistry as well for other teams, we've seen some last-minute teams get thrown together right before Anaheim. Are you a little bit worried about anybody, coming up and maybe challenging you guys for this spot?
In pool play, I really don't see a team coming out and beating us, but I mean, I'm hoping for good games. Every team's worked as hard as us, I'm sure. And I'm looking for good games, not taking any team lightly. We're going to adapt to whatever they bring to the table and beat them.
Right on.
Other than the pool play, Optic Gaming is always the team. EON Optic is always the team that we are worried about. We always love playing them. We look forward to playing them. And if we play them, we're going to give the crowd a good game. How
has your guys' practice schedule been the last couple of weeks here?
Practice schedule, we always get on at 5 and scrim to around 8 every day except for weekends.
And
every day.
That's I got to stress that enough. That's the most important thing you need to do as a new team. If you're interested in participating here at these MLG events, it takes dedication.
A lot of dedication.
And you guys are a testament to that because you are every day scrimming, practicing, making sure everything is 100% nailed down. You don't just want to go to an event and be unprepared, caught with your pants down.
I agree with that 100%.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with a great matchup on the main stage and start the commentary with my co-partner, Mr. Corey Dunn.
Hello and welcome back to the 2011 Major League Gaming Pro Circuit. I'm Corey Dunn alongside Holiday Doc as we're about to see a matchup coming up here on the main stage. The first here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're going to have Obey going up against Icons Black.
Yeah, we're going to see, one of my favorite game types, CTF, right off the start of this. And CTF is such an action-packed game lately. We're seeing some crazy maneuvers, and those overhead nades and those pre-nades are getting better and better every event. And I had the privilege of playing in a team scrim with some pros last week and fell privy to that, getting killed every 5 seconds from nades.
Well, I think the issue that you ran into is you weren't accompanied by myself. And
That's true.
You and I probably taking on some of these pros would be a completely different situation.
Who should we challenge? A little 2-on-2 action, maybe here at Raleigh and maybe at the primary stage?
Possibly.
This is an idea.
I like that idea. I think we might have to make something happen with it possibly tomorrow. But again, the matchup to come here is going to be Obey going against Icons Black. As you mentioned, Capture the Flag on Firing Range is going to be the first game type. Search and Destroy on Hanoi, followed by that with Domination Summit, and then Capture the Flag on Havana and Search and Destroy on Firing Range. As I'm looking forward to seeing, of course, my favorite game type, Search and Destroy. I want to see some of these, see how things are still panning out here so far.
Did we go back to 4 rounds for victory, best of 9 or best of 7? Sorry.
That's one of the things that I've been really looking into to try to make sure that that is the case.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of a conflicting story here. Some people are telling us that we are sticking with the first to 6 wins on Search, but then again, we've been told that it's still at best of or first to 4. So that's going to make or break a lot of teams because with the new time limits, with shortened amount of rounds needed to win, you're going to see a different strategy go into effect.
Wow.
Defending is going to be a lot easier because you can just force the plays and force the other team to come out. And with only 4 round wins, it's going to be difficult.
I have it right here, and that's going to be the case. I mean, if my packet is wrong, then there's something up. But it says it right here. There's 4 rounds that is needed for Search and Destroy. I will not get into detail on how I feel, in my opinion, on something like that.
Come on, we need.
Well, I think the audience out there understands why I won't say anything about it because there's a lot of different discrepancies that can go into play there.
Yeah, just look at how exciting those 6 round wins were. Forcing that overtime. The championship match went to overtime Search.
It came down to the very end. And one of the beautiful things that you see whenever you do the first to 6 instead of the first to 4 is you allow time for these teams to develop strategies. Exactly. You start to create a behavior within the game, and it's all a matter of how you defend against it. Your first 2 rounds on the offensive side are trying to push and set the tone, but if you only have 2 additional rounds after that to close things out. I don't know. It's a tough one for me to really
get behind. Yeah, I fully agree. When you don't have that development period on the search games that we had at Anaheim, you're not going to see these crazy plays. You're not going to see people or the smarter team catch on to exactly what's happening, and you don't allow that same team to change up enough to come out with a victory if they're getting stumped on a couple different other strategies. So hard to say, but I think we're still going to be able to provide with some excellent commentary on the Search and Destroy end.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, that's by far my favorite thing to watch, even though, some of the different changes that have been made. But then, of course, where we have that domination still at its center point, still that turning point for some teams. Even though some teams get down 2-0, the following map is, or following game type is typically domination, and that usually changes the tone or closes things out.
Yeah, domination is a really hard game type for me to really, come out on top every time because, the little things now with the lesser time or flag caps and, with spawns still being a little bit difficult to control, you're running into a lot of situations where you're getting completely swapped back into the negative spawn or bottom spawn anywhere you don't want to be. And ultimately, it comes down to domination. Who can get out of these spawn traps seems to be the ones that are winning it because once they've flopped out, they've managed to hold on to it like we've seen quite a few times.
Coming up next year, Obey going up against Icons Black for the first Call of Duty Black Ops matchup here on the main stage here in Raleigh, North Carolina. So stick around as we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Call of Duty Black Ops stream. I'm Corey Dunn alongside Holiday Doc as we're about to have the matchup between Icons Black and Obey as we're going to kick things off on Capture the Flag on Firing Range. You mentioned by this point we've had several events for these teams to start to adapt and start to figure out these maps, and basically those nade points on a map like Firing Range, we're going to see a lot of it.
Yeah, for me, nades are the most important thing off the start of this game right now because they establish that first push, they establish that first run into opposition spawn, and then start to swap them where you need them to be on the map. But we're gonna jump right in and on board with Nex actually. So we're gonna see how his team is gonna handle this, and it looks like there's a bit of a delay there at the last second.
Everyone probably got in about 15 seconds too late, and we'll see. We'll go ahead and play as if it's live right off the start. But let's go ahead and see what's going to happen. One of the things that you were mentioning before, or we were talking about, was the nade placement. And there has been a point that I noticed that Felonies from Young Guns actually uses Scavenger to take complete advantage of those grenades.
Yeah, another thing I just want to bring up quick is I seen an MP5 on the board, and that is very peculiar as it's not a very good gun to go up against any sort of FAMAS action with, as it's so sketchy to play with.
As right now we're with Spazin, who's back over inside of the trailer.
Yeah, Spazin now, is forced to back up, and both teams are just kind of head-to-head going 1-for-1 in the center of the map here. Nobody's grabbing any sort of map control or situation control here, and we're just picking up some lucky kills as they run by.
For those of you who want to know who's on Team Obey, we've got Crump, Next, Spazin, and Fears. And for Icons Black, we've got Killa, Terror, RJ34, and Ego.
Yeah, so some definitely nice three-piece there. That's going to be their time to move up and get some points and get some map control, as RJ kind of threw him off from the side there, taking off Next, and that was a really good kill. That allowed him to push into center and try to get them and slow them down. But look at here, Spazin grabbing one, and Fears with two. This is a really great push, and this is going to be a first flag run, I believe.
Spazin's got the flag heading over there towards the jungle side. He has a member to get that one cut. He may be able to easily pass on through, as right now it looks like he dove a little early, but he'll finally be able to come all the way back across and be able to pick up that first flag cap with 3 minutes left to play here in the first half.
Yeah, that was really good. You can hear them cheering on. They're happy about that first push, and the first flag cap is kind of crucial. It kind of shows your opposition, hey, we're here. We grabbed that first point. Come get us.
As right there you can see Spazin, who's up on top wood, has done a great job so far. As Nex has been able to pick up two there with the FAMAS.
Yeah, Spazin now pushed up. There was a flag pull, but not able to get out in time. Fierce grab and kill in the back there. And Spazin finally picking off RJ34 as now they pushed in. They got really good setup right now. Somebody's bottom tin watching respawns, but they didn't catch the backside as Killer respawned so far back on the jungle. They didn't know that they flop spawns, and that's very dangerous. Can't allow that. Got to have your communication rolling and make sure that that particular thing does not go down.
All right, we switch over here with Icons Black as Terror gets taken down there by Nex. As now we're back over here on board here with Ego. Ego spamming with that AK-74U, trying to stun this one out. He doesn't have any teammates to be able to help him out. That's Nex who has the flag. As Nex is able to take down Killer. As Ego trying to be able to push back around, and this looks like Nex is going to be able to get another flag cap here so far. Score is going to be 2-0 here in the first half, and Obey doing a great job to kick things off.
Yeah, and this is that Obey that we see every event. They come out the first couple games, and just smash on people, and then it goes downhill from there. Hopefully they fix that in the offseason here. Hopefully they'll be able to hold it together, but as of right now, Icons is kind of getting thrown around the map like a ragdoll.
Well, you've got Nex, who's sitting at 11-5, Crump at 9-5, and Fears at 8-7. Therefore, Obey. As again, now we're back over here with Killa, who's been able to get a flag pull, but stunned, so they know exactly where he's at. He's going to get dropped there by Fears. As still trying to be able to push back in there, Fears able to pick up his second kill. As Ego's going to try at his attempt to be able to come in here and get this flag pull.
So it looks like Breezy is the only original member from Obey on this team now. The rest of the teammates got picked up very last minute. Empire, Episode, and Triz decided, hey, let's join up with Breezy. I think so far this is working very well for them. Look at those numbers on the board, too. If we can get the scoreboard just to pop up quick and let you guys see as well, we got a pretty solid showing from this team right now. And all the scoreboard will tell you that, as, only person who's not in the double digits so far is Spazin. And he does have a capture, though, to back him up on that.
As right now the score 3-0 here for the first half. And a quick rundown, we got 11-6 there for Nex, Fears at 12-7, and Crump at 13-7. And for Icons Black, the only member that was actually able to really produce was Killa, who was at, I believe, 11-6.
So what I kind of saw so far was the fact that we're getting a little too aggressive by the objective player. I think Ego needs to slow it down a little bit and wait for his teammates to push up and get those kills first before he starts just running in there and giving up kills too easily.
Ego pushed right through the middle. He's been able to get a flag pull. He's going to now have to try to be able to hightail it out of there. And with a nice little counter pull there by Nex, who's heading up there towards the back trailer. But Ego, the flag carrier, is going to be able to take him down. As now they're going to have to be able to push back around. This looks like it's going to be a flag cap there for Icons Black. Now the score is going to be 3-1 here on CTF Firing Range.
So we saw that Ego tried to pick up the flag a couple different times on the first round. His teammates weren't in position. And just like I said, when they had position, that was his time to grab flag, and he managed to do it so very nicely. He also had a little bit of a sneak play running through mid there. They didn't expect that.
He keeps trying to go through that front door as you got Spazin now, who's trying to shut things down. But some nice stuns coming in. He's just going to be able to back out of there. He's got his teammate who's under a lot of gunfire there towards that jungle side. That was Fears. He got dropped by Killa, but he's got two to worry about. There goes Killa, as now he's trying to be able to watch that backside, peeking back around. He's worrying about way too much. Really just need to focus out what's in front of him at a hand.
Yeah, the double stun by Nex. He knows he's in there, but Ego with the knife coming in, slicing and dicing, and he's going to be trying to grab this flag again, but not a pull so far. But letting Spaz get up there, it's kind of a mistake in a bit of exchange. And with almost got double pistol kill. Killa just barely picked out the kill on that. Crump coming in, picking up two, securing the spawn point, and Fears with the third. This is a nice pull right now.
Next, going to go ahead over there towards jungle side. Somebody off the spawn was able to put out a stun but now he has a lot of cover fire. This is going to be an easy run unless his teammates get taken out. Great stun still coming in, trying to delay the inevitable as he's pushing in, and Ego comes in, chimes in with the frag grenade, taking down next, and Ego comes in with the pull, able to return the flag, and now he's making his move probably back over there towards that mid side.
Yeah, that was a really great play. They slowed him down long enough, and that nade landed at his feet. It looked like it actually made its way through the doorway, which is a tremendous, tremendous nade throw.
You mentioned about the precision nades there in the pregame, and that's what's coming to fruition here in this matchup so far. Score still 3-1 here in favor of Obey, as right now Crump, he has the flag. He notices that Killa has the opposing flag. As Crump starting to be able to make his move here towards this, back towards the firing range. We may have a little standoff here for a little bit. As right there, Fear's doing a great job taking down RJ34. As now we're tied up here in the second half, 4-1 overall here between Icons Black and Obey.
Yeah, I love what I see so far. You know, going back and forth, there's no delays, there's not a lot of camping going on, and that's been the main complaint from a lot of pro teams when they place or capture the flag, is that an opposition, whoever it may be, always sets somebody in the back of the map and just likes to play that solid or that static defender, just moving around the back of the spawn, playing the head glitches, and beautiful shot there by Crump back-to-backs.
Crump trying to be able to push back across, and Terror answers back with his own two-piece, as now Spazin watching inside of mid. Just a great exchange of kills back and forth between these two teams, as now, again, Fears has the flag. And you can notice right here, we're on board here with Spazin. Next picking up the flag. It looks like they're going to go ahead and pick up another flag cap here.
Yeah.
As
he got knifed at the last moment.
Ego again.
Whoa.
Ego doing a great job. He came in with earlier with a great frag grenade, picking off the flag carrier just in time, and this time he's able to pull out the blade and cut him down to size. As now the score still 4-1 with 45 seconds left to play here in this matchup.
That was too bad. That was, you know, a potential flag cap that got shut down in the last couple seconds. And what I kind of looked and saw what happened there was they moved in, but then they all floated back to defend their main flag runner and left the side spawn completely open. They left C tunnel open, they left B ramp open. They moved in, they hid Ego somewhere in there. I don't know how he could have been hiding so long, but he came in, knifed the flag, got it back, and unfortunately, it was a little too late situation.
As this one looks like it's going to go to Obey. But a great little effort there at the end. We saw some really great frag grenades coming in from Icons Black. As right there, the final score there for capture the flag for firing range is going to be 4-2 overall in favor of Obey. And that's going to push us off to search and destroy on Hanoi. As we'll be right back here in just a moment with more Call of Duty Black Ops. Hello and welcome back. We're again Obey leading the series 1-0 here over Icons Black after picking up that game type there for capture the flag on fire range 4-2. As that's going to bring us to search and destroy on Hanoi. We mentioned earlier about the changes that have been made to search and destroy, and this will finally give us a chance to really see if that's the case, see if there's any type of differences coming into this one.
It's going to be hard to call, and early on calls like this always get me into trouble every single time I do it. So I'm not going there. You will not get a prediction out of me this time. But we are moving into Search and Destroy. Search and Destroy I really want to see go down because it's going to show us exactly how the rest of these S&D games are going to go down. I know a lot of teams were not in favor of the rule change, but I know we are a little bit limited in time constraints. They wanted to shorten up our overall matches, so they decided to go with the
domination. Oh, sorry.
There you go. Exactly. I agree.
As, again, we're going to see what's going to happen here on Hanoi. I mean, what is the typical strategy overall on Search and Destroy Hanoi?
Everybody, when you're trying to plant that bomb, you're going to want to try and go over a control spotlight as quick as possible. The pre-nades and the pre-fire spots on this side are very difficult. You got to catch them early, otherwise you're going to allow somebody to slip in behind you and potentially wipe out your whole team in a matter of seconds because, when you are planting the bomb on that top side, you are very wide open and very contained all too close together.
One of the things that I noticed from the Capsule Flag on firing range, Obey, they were doing a great job. Their sling was doing really good. So
they're nailing those shots.